All right, let's journey back in time. I mean, way back, to an ancient era of sages and ashrams. A time when the stories we read about, of gods and demons, they weren't just myths. No, they were real, world-shaking events. So where does our story begin? Well, it all starts with the great sage Kashapa. We're talking one of the literal creators of life itself. And at the very heart of this whole saga are his two wives, Kadru and Vinata. Their destinies, believe me, are about to completely change the history of all three worlds. Okay, so let's get into it. The central conflict, right? The thing that kicks this whole incredible story off. It all starts with a simple request. You see, both wives go to the sage Kashyapa and ask for a boon, a special blessing. And it's in their wishes that you really start to see their true natures come out. And the contrast here is just, wow. On one hand, you have Kadru. She asks for 1,000 powerful Naga or serpent sons. She's clearly aiming for numbers, for influence over the world. But then you have Vinata. She only wants 2 sons. Just 2. But here's the kicker. She wants them to be far greater, more radiant, and more powerful than all of Kadru's 1,000 sons put together. So naturally, this rivalry just keeps escalating. And it all comes to a head with a bet. A bet over the divine horse Uchai-Shravas, the one that came from the turning of the ocean. Vinata was absolutely certain its tail was pure white. But Kadru knew she was wrong. So what does she do? She cheats. She actually commands her 1,000 Naga sons to wrap themselves all around the horse's tail, so from a distance it looked black. So sneaky. And just like that, because of one single calculated lie, Vinata loses the bet. And the price? She becomes a slave to her co-wife, Kadru. Can you imagine? She's forced to serve the Nagas, enduring insults and humiliation day in and day out. The only thing she could hold on to, her one sliver of hope, was the promise of her magnificent son, who was still yet to be born. Okay, so years go by, and then, one day, something happens. A moment arrives that literally shakes the entire cosmos. Because from Vinata's second egg, the one she's been waiting on for so long, a truly cataclysmic birth is about to happen. And let me tell you, this was not just any birth. The egg cracks open, and what emerges is a being of just immense power. This is Garuda. His wings are as vast as mountains, his eyes blaze like fire, and his divine radiance, it's so intense that the gods themselves look down and think he must be Agni, the fire god, or maybe even a powerful new deity they've never seen before. That's the kind of entrance he made. So as Garuda starts to grow up, he just can't understand why his mother is always so sad, why she lives this life of a slave. He finally goes to her and asks her why she suffers such injustice. And so with a really heavy heart, Vinata finally tells him the whole story. The whole story about the deceitful bet that led to her enslavement. Well, you can imagine what happens next. Garuda is filled with this righteous anger. He goes straight to the Nagas to confront them, but they just mock him. They laugh. And they give him what they think is an absolutely impossible task. They say, "You want to free your mother? Fine. Go to the heavens and bring us back Amrita, the nectar of immortality." They were so sure he would fail. After all, it was in the most heavily guarded realm in the universe. But oh, did the Nagas underestimate him. For Garuda, this wasn't some impossible quest. No, it was his one single purpose. He was driven by this powerful need to free his mother. And so he takes flight. His destination? The heavens. His intent? He was ready for war with the gods themselves. Now, getting to the heavens wasn't going to be easy. His path was blocked by some incredible defenses. First up, a massive wall of celestial fire. What does he do? He just extinguishes it with the wind from his mighty wings. Easy enough. Next, he comes across an island full of monstrous giants. He defeats them in a flash and just tosses them into the ocean. So he finally reaches the gates of heaven, and who's waiting for him? Oh, just the entire celestial army. But Garuda's speed was like lightning. He's dodging their divine weapons left and right, and the sheer force from his wings is just shattering their formations. He was, quite literally, an unstoppable force of nature. And this brings him face to face with the big guy himself, Indra, the king of the gods. Indra doesn't hold back. He unleashes his ultimate weapon, the Vajra. This is a lightning bolt that could destroy entire mountains. But when it strikes Garuda, something incredible happens. Garuda, to show respect for the weapon and for the sage it was made from, allows a single, tiny feather to fall. He's completely unharmed. Indra? Well, Indra was absolutely stunned. He couldn't believe his eyes. So after fighting his way past every single defense and finally getting his hands on the pot of Amrita, Garuda starts his journey back to Earth. But on his way, he has a divine encounter, one that's going to change his destiny forever. Suddenly, a brilliant light just fills the sky, and appearing right before him is this serene, four-armed being, holding a conch, a discus, a mace, and a lotus. It was, of course, Lord Vishnu, the preserver of the entire universe. And it turns out he'd been watching Garuda's incredible journey this whole time. Now, what impressed Vishnu so much wasn't just Garuda's power, though that was amazing. No, it was his selfless devotion, his sense of duty to his mother. So Vishnu offers Garuda any boon he could possibly desire. And Garuda's requests? They were extraordinary. First, he asks for immortality, but get this, without having to drink the Amrita he just fought so hard for. And second, he asks for a position that would always be higher than Vishnu himself. Wow. And this really tells you everything you need to know about his character. After getting these unbelievable boons, Garuda turns around and offers a boon back to Vishnu. Can you believe it? And all he asks for is the honor of serving the preserver of the universe. He offers to become his eternal vehicle, his divine mount. It's in that moment that Garuda goes beyond his original quest and becomes a divine being in his own right. So now, he's immortal. He's the chosen vehicle of Lord Vishnu himself. And with that, Garuda returns to Earth, because he still had a promise to keep, right? He still had a mission to complete, to finally free his mother. But this created a pretty big dilemma, didn't it? I mean, he had to give the Amrita to the Nagas to fulfill his end of the bargain. But if those treacherous serpents actually drank it, they become immortal, and that would be a terrible threat to the whole world. So the question is, how could he possibly keep his word without empowering evil? The solution, it turns out, was simple but absolutely brilliant. Garuda lands, places the pot of Amrita on the ground, and tells the overjoyed Nagas that before consuming something so divine, they must purify themselves with a holy bath. And of course, the moment the Nagas leave to do just that, Indra, all as part of the plan, swoops down, snatches the nectar, and takes it right back to the heavens. Genius! And with that, it was all done. His mother was freed, his promise was kept, and the world was safe. And that is why Garuda's story has stuck around for thousands of years. You see, he's so much more than just a powerful bird king. He's a timeless symbol of immense courage, of selfless devotion, what we call bhakti, and of an unwavering commitment to his duty, or dharma. Think about it. Garuda chose service over power. He chose duty over personal glory, and in doing so, he became the eternal protector of the heavens. And that really leaves us with a final thought to ponder, doesn't it? Maybe, just maybe, even today, whenever Dharma is threatened, somewhere way up beyond a sky, Garuda is spreading those mighty wings, ready to swoop in and defend it once more.